Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 234 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we're talking about emotional health and well-being, of course, all this month. And our topic today is card carrying strategy. It's a strategy I've used for decades, and it's helped me. It helped me in corporate America. It helped me in my businesses, and it's helped me in my personal life. And all I mean by a card carrying strategy is, and I'm going to grab my notes because I've been taking notes lately, trying to be a little more efficient, to give you some tips and why and how I do things. First and foremost, I like it because it's portable. It can go with me. And all I do, I'm going to show the strategy that I'm going to tell you some tips about it, is I pick one of these many, and I actually have like 30 or 40 of these different card decks now. And they're usually based on a book or some very wise person's teachings. I've got Simple Practices for Everyday Life, Mindfulness. That one's got 4 different topics in, and so I like to mix and match and do like a couple a day and carry them with me throughout the day. I read them in the morning, I think about them, and then for a few minutes, I used to do it when I was driving to and from work, but I changed that into just part of, I carry it around and I'd have it by me most of the day. I'd set it up on my desk, or sometimes I still do that, but sometimes I just read it in the morning and I think about it and I stick it in my daily challenge notebook or somewhere where I know I'm going to run across it a couple of times during the day and I can review the message on it. And it's amazing to me how often the message for the card that I randomly pick in the morning out of all the decks, I'll just mix and match them up, is the exact message and thing I need sometime during that day. It's kind of mind-blowing. I wish I would have documented over the years the card I was carrying and then what happened as a part of that. I probably should have journaled it for all these years, but I haven't. Maybe I'll start doing that this year or next year. Maybe next year I'll do that. And we'll do a challenge where it includes, we pull a card every single day. So that's all you do. You pick a card, you read it a few times during the day, you think about it, and you look for how it can apply to your life and how it can make your life or your business or your relationships or your communication or your confidence or whatever it is you want better. And why I like to pick different ones is it actually reminds me that our lives are not singular. Our lives, we are emotional beings first, but we're not all emotional beings, right? We're physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. We've got financial concerns. We've got relationship concerns and areas that we want to focus on. So after the cards came out, some authors like Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay started, or I believe Hay House probably started this, and the first cards I got were from Hay House. The very first ones were from Louise Hay, because I liked the format. It was simple, easy. It was something positive I could do for myself every day. So on those days when challenges came up and everything was going tough, you know what? I could look at that and I could say, oh, here we go. So for example, then after that, they came out with these little books that are all based on the book Power Thoughts by Louise Hay or by Wayne Dyer, Everyday Wisdom for Success, and Staying on the Path were 2 books that he wrote before he passed away and before Louise passed away. And I could just randomly turn to a page, and I actually used Wayne Dyer's Staying on the Path as part of a challenge. I think it was a 30-day challenge where I just would pick one, and that was part of what I was sharing. Was we would read that, I would read, I guess, and everybody else would listen to the saying for the day, and then we would all go out and think about how it impacted us and how we could use it to make our day better, be a better version of ourselves. So how do you do that? How do you pick the card that you want to do today? Go out. If you don't have a deck, just buy the first deck that speaks to you and use that deck to randomly pull a card from. Or you can even make up your own cards, right? You can make up affirmation cards. I have affirmation cards. I have cards of every topic. You Can Heal Your Life from Louise Hay. I can't even think of all the decks I have. And I was looking for I have a brown container that I pulled the decks out of the boxes because the boxes take up a lot of space. And I just randomly put cards in there and I spread them out. And then I would just grab one a day and carry that with me throughout the day. I did that last year. It was pretty enlightening. So how do you choose a card? Listen to your intuition. Don't overthink it. Just pick the card that speaks to you. It's like when tarot readers spread out the deck and they're thinking of you and they pull the 3 cards that are for you. They just intuitively do that, right? Focus on your current emotional state. What's your current emotional state? If you're feeling overwhelmed, pick a calming deck or a calming card. If you're lacking motivation, choose one that's empowering, like Louise Hay's Power Thoughts. Love this book. When I was feeling meh, this was a great book for me to read. I rejoice in what I have, and I meet all challenges with open arms. It's pretty motivating. It's like, hey, I am appreciative and grateful for what I have. Now, what am I going to do to move forward, or etc. Select from a variety of decks. Like I said, I have like 30, I suppose, of these different decks that I can choose from. There's affirmation cards. There's mindfulness cards. I've got the whole mindfulness cards system here. Wisdom cards, goal-oriented cards. There's financial ones. I think just about every genre nowadays of authors have some, and many of them, it started in personal development, that it's spread from there. But almost any really good best-selling book, somebody has turned into a deck of cards now to monetize it. How can you practice this? How can you make the card carrying strategy a daily practice? I like to pull it first thing in the morning after I get up, do my parts of my morning routine. And sometimes, and maybe next year, it will become an actual part of my morning routine again. It has been in the past. It isn't this year that I pull a card every day. I don't do it every day. But when I do, I pull it first thing in the morning, and then I use it because that becomes the theme for the day in the back of my mind and in my subconscious. I usually shuffle a deck that I pick. Usually I'll pick the deck, then I'll pick a card from that deck based on what my intuition, what my gut says I want to think about or focus on or work on today. So, for example, if I were doing it every day this month, and maybe we'll do it every day next month for physical or something. I don't think physical's next month. Anyway, whatever the topic is next month. But when I would look at that card, it's different every day. But whenever I get an urge to look at the card, I would look at the card, read the card, think about the card for a few seconds, and then go back to whatever it was I was doing. It's a great mental stress relieving break to have something like that boosts your confidence, feeds your positive energy, especially as stuff comes up during the day. So during stressful times, if I was going to get a cup of coffee in the break room, I would read that. If I had a midday break sometime, I would read that. If I'm going for a walk, I take it with me, read it, stick it in my pocket, and think about it on my walks, etc. Psychological benefits of card carrying. It increases our emotional awareness, and that's what this month is all about. It helps us to cognitively reframe situations and things that come up then by using the lesson in the card to filter to help us deal with the situations that do come up. It also gives us an emotional anchor. I don't know about you, but I like anchors in my life, and we can put them on our body, but they can also be physical things we carry. Who carries little things or trinkets in their purse or briefcase? I do. Why? Because they have the same calming effect for me as the cards do. Real life examples of how you can use this is by writing affirmations. Again, you can read your card during breakfast, before breakfast, while you're having your morning coffee. You can read it midday when you take a break to have a bite to eat or go get another coffee and for lunch. Then you can also practice it in the evening after. And I guess I could share some of these examples of this, but I've got so many examples of how these have helped me. If you want more, just please ask. Hit me up and ask. If you're like, well, that seems so stupid, I'm not even going to try or do that. You know what? Make your own card. I haven't talked about it yet, but we're going to talk about flip books. And in one of these sessions, flip books, this is my 2020 flip book. I used to create my own, like basically card decks and flip decks with these little I call them flip books, little flip books. I got this one at Target. I love these because I could carry it around with me. And in 2020, nobody else was around. We weren't interacting with people, so it worked out great. But I would just flip through and read a few of these. It was like my card carrying strategy on steroids, where I could have as many messages as I put in the book that I would review every single day to remind me how I wanted to show up in the world, how I wanted to communicate, how I wanted to be the type of person I wanted to be. Rotate your decks frequently. You can go like a month picking from the same deck or however long you want, but I like to mix them up based on what my gut tells me I need to think about, look at, and pay attention to today. I said, it's incredible how many times I'll have picked a card that I think about. I'm like, well, I don't know how that's going to fit today. And then all of a sudden, a couple hours into the day, it was the perfect thing I needed to remember at the time I was communicating with somebody or at the time I was working on a project that I felt stuck in, etc. To enhance the power of the cards, you can connect it to and pair it up with a mindfulness practice like breathing or meditation or gratitude lists. You could use it that way. You can use digital tools to create and get your messages. You can use apps and widgets and all kinds of things and technology. I am old school, so I like to have the physical card in my hand. It's like I'm legally blind now, so reading is a challenge for me. But I used to like to have the physical book in my hand. It's why I liked having a Kindle. I could at least be holding something when I could read my Kindle. This works based on neuroscience. It isn't something that I've just made up. Cognitive behavior psychology has tested and found that our more exposure to positive affirming messages and statements can create neural pathways in our brain. It's just like visualization and practicing for athletes or for performances or for speeches. It allows us to create as if we'd practiced in real life. I think the tangible nature of cards, that I can physically take it with me and hold it, yet it's small enough that I can take it with me and hold it, make it a great tool. Some messages to inspire you to practice this today are, I'm exactly where I need to be. What a great, powerful statement that is. My challenges and opportunities are opportunities in disguise. I think every challenge is a chance to grow and create what it is that we want in our life. I release what no longer serves me. I love that one. I use that one a lot. I am grounded, calm, and focused. I need to use that one a whole lot more. And then every step I take moves me forward toward what it is that I want. Every day I do something to be a better version of myself. We can write our own. Long-term impact of cards and card-carrying strategy, greater resilience, ability to handle the stressful things that come up every single day for most of us. Improved self-talk and confidence, huge for most of us. Enhanced decision-making, grounded in clarity, and stronger emotional intelligence, which is what this month is all about. Becoming the best possible version of ourselves. All right, I'm going to stop talking about this. Find a card today or make a card today. Carry it around. Share in the comments below that you've done it. And then any ahas that you have. Like I said, you don't have to go out and buy a deck. You can look up online and you can see inside and take one of those, write it on a Post-it note or write it on a piece of paper and carry it with you today. That has the same impact. Or be like me, get a flip book, collect a whole bunch of things that make you feel awesome and good and create the life you want. All right, any questions? Ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.